Hello, welcome to the I'm a Celebrity South Africa, the podcast. I am Seann Walsh. This is...
Scarlett, Moffat. I don't know why, it just always makes me smile when you introduce the podcast.
It doesn't feel right.
No, it does. It's just like you go into proper professional mode. You're like, this is the podcast, everybody. Like, this is going to be good.
Okay, right, smarten up. Sort yourselves out. Straighten those ties. Make sure those laces are tied up. Of course they are. Straighten your skirt.
Is that a saying? Yeah. It might be where you're from. It's quite posh, isn't it? What do you mean?
I don't mean it as a saying. I mean it literally. There's some people going to work. Straighten your skirt. Make sure you're looking sharp. Now, Moffat, I trust you're well.
Yes, I am. After watching that episode, I feel like the storms are brewing. I feel like the weather represents how the camp is feeling, really. Where
we are now, from where we started, it feels like we're in a different place now. You know, it was everyone was happy and upbeat, good to see you. It really felt like a strong group. But now those cracks are beginning to show.
Which, is this evil? But, I actually like that. I know that sounds awful. But as a viewer, not being in there and watching it, I just find it so interesting seeing how some people can stay so composed and not let the hunger get to them and not let the trials get to them. And then other people, because you can't mask this now. They've been in there 9 days or whatever it is, and it's you cannot pretend to be. You can't put a face on because you're tired, you're hungry, you're missing home. It's freezing cold.
Poor Andy. He's collapsing in there, isn't he?
I think he's just really sick of rice and beans.
A hissy fit.
He hates.
Yeah,
he hates
clearly.
And I can't explain to you how boring. It's like eating air. It honestly is like chewing thick air.
Yes.
It is actually soul destroying.
It is, but I have to say, I don't think, and I might be wrong, I don't think, apart from Boy George getting sick of mushrooms because he was vegetarian, apart from that, I don't think we really had anyone that lost it due to the food. And seeing it is that's a new experience for me. I mean, it is getting to them. Andy's he's a broken man. He can't do any more rice and beans. And I think that what I was going to say was, I don't think it's fair to say that, these people are now showing their true colours. It's not that when they're in a bad mood, that's who they are. It's not. It's hangry. They're hangry, they're tired. It's like the Incredible Hulk. When Bruce Banner becomes the Incredible Hulk, you don't go, oh, there he is, showing his true colours. No, that's not him. That's him in a bad mood. That's him when he's the Hulk. So I think that's where they are now. They're all becoming their own version of the Incredible Hulk.
That's a good analysis, that.
Another thing that I just want to highlight with the storm coming, and it obviously has come, and they've dealt with it. I think they've dealt with it quite well thus far. But I think what no one prepared me for when I went into the jungle, and you've mentioned this actually, about when you're sitting down, having no back. There's no back to lean on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily I brought in a chair. I actually brought in a deck chair, not a deck chair, but one of those festival chairs when I was in. So that was me sorted. But becoming uncomfortable in there, as in, if it's raining, if they're cold, just being generally physically uncomfortable, that is such a massive test. It's one of those things that I just unfortunately can't get across in words. You have to experience it. What we were wearing, a lot of us, if not all of us, at some point would be wearing wet socks because they just weren't drying. And we didn't even have bad weather. We had good weather. But these are thick socks and they would get wet and they would get damp, and you would have no choice but to wear them because you had to wear them in case you got bit by something, some killer spider or something. So that is also, it's not just the tired, it's not just the food, it's being uncomfortable on a second-to-second basis.
That has just reminded me of a story, right? When I was in the jungle, Joel Dommett had this ingenious idea that he was going to purposefully burn his socks.
Clever man.
So that he would have to be given new ones, right? So he put them really close to the fire so that they had like crispy holes in, and then they didn't give him new ones. They just didn't give him any. So he was just like walking around in crispy ass socks. So then whenever anyone left, we'd be like begging them for socks. We'd be like, please, can we have your socks?
Yes! Yes, that happens. That absolutely happens. Helen, this new Helen.
I just love her.
It's like a brand new woman.
She's just like a powerhouse of a human being. And I just think it goes to show, like, she's, like, got brains, beauty, brawn, because she got the nut question right, if we remember.
South Africa is the world's largest producer and exporter of which type of nut?
A.
Macadamia or pecan?
A. Because I Googled questions before I came here.
You clever girl.
You're joking.
Well, let's just think about it.
Because I put general knowledge.
And I was going to do that, I didn't have time.
But I'm pretty certain it's macadamia.
You knew that straight from the gut.
We're doing it,
I think it's A.
Go on, macadamia.
I'm so nervous right now, I can't even look.
You'll be fine. We're doing A. We're doing A. Let's go, Gillian.
We're doing A.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
She was prepared. I feel like she is, like, no matter where she comes in this competition, because I think we can call this a competition now, she is going to be branded a legend now. Because I think before she did herself a bit of a disservice, but she was only 22. But now she can fully, like, walk out there with her head held high, actually putting herself up, actually saying, I want to do a trial.
Were you someone that would put yourself forward?
Absolutely not.
We would have got on in there.
Yeah, why would I want to do a trial? I've got nothing to prove. I'm a wimp. And I'm absolutely fine with that. When I had to, I would go and do the trials. And normally I would get about 8 stars, sometimes 10. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I did but not. I wouldn't purposefully go, please can I be put through trauma? Because as much as I love Ant and Dec, their novelty of seeing their faces quickly wears off. And you just don't want to, like, you're just a bit like, I'd rather just stay in camp on my hammock, being uncomfortable, than being uncomfortable and covered in bugs and sticky stuff.
Helen and Paul they were doing the botanical gardens. That's where they were.
Do you know what made me laugh though? Helen, bless her, like, there was literally, when she had to scrape the stuff off the, like, squares, and it said 2 up, and she just scraped. She must have went through every single combination first, bar the actual one that it said on the instructions. And Dec was trying to help so much. He was like, look at the squares. And she was like, I am. And I was like, no, it literally tells you which one, Helen. Like, I was screaming at the telly. I was like, come on, Helen.
I know. She was very good though. I think she could come and do my shed if she wants. When she's out, I'd be like, you're very good at that. Do you want to come and do my shed? That could do with a clean.
Do you know what I worried about though? When she did the offal and literally, like, she drank offal juice, which was disgusting.
No.
A whole head went in the offal. Yeah, but then Seann, she was covered in blood and guts, then got into a fountain with crocodiles. And I was thinking, what happens if they try and, like, lick the blood off her? Because surely they can, like,
I know.
Smell the blood.
It's literally like a blood smoothie has jumped into the water.
Yeah.
Imagine being a crocodile going, well, here's my lucky day.
Yeah, I was really worried.
I've ordered
in. Yeah, it's like Deliveroo.
Yeah.
She's like, did anyone order a shish kebab? I was actually genuinely worried.
What about Paul Burrell?
Yeah, Paul Burrell, when he kept saying, I'm not a swimmer. And I was thinking, Like, Ant and Dec were like, but you don't have to swim. I was so confused. I know I don't know if, like, the goggles get up, like, confused him and, like, but he genuinely kept saying, like, I can't swim. No, no one's saying you have to, mate. You just have to stick your head in. It's like bobbing for apples.
Right.
His noises.
It's so funny.
The noises that come out of that man. How? Do you know what? You watch him in the jungle. Oh, sorry, or you watch him in the bush, and you think, how was he ever a butler?
Yeah, because surely, like you come
butler's
across it. Yeah, you're right. Like he'd have had to deal with leftover
do you know what I mean?
food
Like
and
they're
stuff.
together. Yeah. It gets a bit like, he makes, I don't know, a bacon sandwich, and a bit of the fat is hanging out of the sandwich, and he starts going, oh no, oh man. What's wrong with him? Those noises. It's so bizarre.
I suppose it makes him him, doesn't it? I think without the noises, he possibly wouldn't like be back in as a legend. Because let's be honest, that's like sort of what he is legendary for.
That's his thing.
That is that's his like niche, innit? That's his little party trick.
If he was a toy, you'd press him and he'd go, oh no, oh.
Yeah, you actually would. Dean is like living the dream.
I know.
He's been in there and like he's just having picnic upon picnic. Like he's just and then poor Joe's team. I feel a bit for Joe because I feel like it's not really his fault, is it? Really, like he's just picking the people who he wants to go forward.
Didn't Paul Burrell put himself forward? I think.
Yeah,
I might
he
have got
did.
that wrong.
No, he did. Paul was like, I can do
What is
it.
he of all the people? Why are you putting yourself forward? You're scared of literally everything. Go to the back. You just sit there, make your weird noises, do your hip thrusts, right?
Oh.
Try and stir some tension in the camp, and we'll go and get the stars. Don't put yourself forward.
This is why I feel like it's the whole... Weirdly, you would think the camp divide would come from Dean's team and Joe's team. You would think it would be each other's teams that would have conflict with each other, but it's not. It's the losing team, Joe's team, that are actually showing cracks.
Yeah.
Like no one's actually really arguing with the other team, which I thought would happen. I thought,
You're right.
they're going to start and have tensions between them because of the competitiveness and the picnics. But actually, Joe's team is just absolutely dropping to bits. And I just think if they carry on that going forward, like, it's never ever going to work because you're only as strong as your weakest link, and they all seem to be like putting each other down. They're like, oh, we're on Joe's team, like, and poor Joe hasn't done anything. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I think you're right, but I think how it works in the bush is, and you can see it, and we watch it on a daily basis. Even if they win a challenge and they get those tiny little treats, your whole day when you wake up is based around the challenge and the trials. That's kind of all you've got to look forward to in there. So when you get a little treat, actually, that's a really big celebratory thing. You've got this little treat, and that lifts the mood of the camp. I mean, I would remember when people would come back and they got the star, they got 8 stars, 9 stars, to even 7 stars. Everyone would be over the moon. You would be genuinely like, yes, we did it. We're gonna have it tonight, and they're just not getting that high. They're not getting anything to sing and dance
you're right,
about,
actually.
and that's what's causing tension, I think, in the group.
But the
It's
picnic,
tense.
I mean, I'm really, really pleased that Helen said about the picnic because I just think, like, I feel like it's worked. Like, I feel like her ingenious idea of saying, like, oh, it's just like a couple of cucumber sandwiches has, like, genuinely worked. Because I think if they knew actually what it was, they maybe would push themselves a little bit harder. as well. So they've all...
They wouldn't have put Paul in there.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Like, so I feel like the green team, again, have got, like, that going against them as well because they haven't got the fight in them. Because they just think, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I can't give my last bit of energy for a cucumber sandwich.
You're right. Psychological.
So my favourite part of this whole episode was Swashy, Joe Swash, saying that Fatima reminded him of his lovely wife, Stacey Solomon.
Fatima's definitely in charge of the camp. She's a little bit like my Stacey. Stacey's the only other woman that could boss me around in a really nice way and without me realising I'm being bossed around, which is really clever.
I think Stacey will love that.
Stacey Solomon, Olympic champion.
I think it's because Fatima's like so motherly and she's like really admired in camp, and I think like Joe was saying like, oh, she's the only person that can get away with bossing me about without me feeling, you know, like I'm getting bossed at.
Yeah, well, I think, but I think what he's talking about is that they like being in charge.
Yes, he likes a strong woman.
He does.
I think it's cute. You do when you're in there. Start sort of comparing your campmates to people back home. I think that's a way to like, it's a bit like a comfort blanket. Like for me, Larry Lamb was like my granddad in there. And like, I would like sit on his knee.
He was like your what?
My granddad.
What did you say?
My granddad.
Granddad?
Yeah, granddad.
What happens up there?
Like my pappy, I call him pappy. But like, so I would like sit on Larry's
lovely.
knee and I would give him hugs, and if ever I had a little cry, like Larry would be who I went and spoke to. So I think
He sounds like Santa Claus.
Yeah, he's a bit like Santa, Larry. Like
He gave you a plastic sword.
He's like
I bet they don't do that anymore, do they?
No. Just a selection box. Carol Vorderman, like she used to wash my hair for me, probably because my hair stank. But she used to volunteer to wash my hair, so she was a bit like motherly.
Oh my God!
What?
No wonder you won.
Why?
You're going in there. Here, Carol, wash my hair, would you? Larry, I've got some issues. Get on your lap. You got a therapist. You've got a hairdresser. My Lord. I've really come round to Fatima. I think I have to say, but for me, being in there with her would be, as I keep saying that, well, I would find that tough if she was bossing me about, because I am, as we all know, totally incapable and useless at everything.
But she would put... do you know what, though? You would learn life lessons off Fatima. I feel like everyone leaving that camp after being with Fatima is learning a life lesson. Like, I think she makes people realise how lazy they are. And I mean that in a nice way. But actually what she's saying isn't wrong.
Yes, that's what I don't want to face.
Yeah, and I think actually sometimes the truth hurts. And, like, yes, it's annoying. But equally, like, why should it just be down to her and Carol to do the whole camp? It shouldn't be. So then I'm a bit like, sometimes I'm like, oh, Fatima, just like try and enjoy it a bit more, like see the fun in it for yourself. But then other times I'm like, go and tell them, the lazy sods. They should pick their own pants up and wash the pots.
But so... I feel like you're having a go at me. You've seen my kitchen. La, 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 la. No, hearing her backstory, as we have done, it's totally changed the way that I look at Fatima. But obviously, like, she even... You know, her way of dealing with things even managed to crack Toff. Toff was having none of it, was she? When she saw Fatima changing their roles on the board, she zipped herself right up. I'm getting sick of this. Zzz. Off she went.
And you know what? Toff is like so cheery and so positive all the time.
I know.
So, yeah, I suppose we're seeing a snippet of it, but the fact that Toff zipped herself up in like a human, like, sleeping bag coffin just to get away from listening to her sort of does...
It was like a butterfly went back into being a caterpillar.
Yeah, like...
can't be bothered with this.
I think it's because she does it first thing in the morning, rather than sort of wait until people have woke up and had the rice and beans and had a cup of hot water to cheat themselves up. As soon as they're out the sleeping bag, she's like, right, let's do this.
I know. No, not for me. I used to wake up in the morning, and I actually missed this. I'd wake up in the morning with Boy George meditating, and I'd walk up to Mike Tyndall, and Mike Tyndall would pick me up and crack my back. Good morning, lovely.
Wonderful.
I know, I missed that. Missed those days. Look, that was a ram-packed episode. So much going on. It seems to be boiling up in there. I can't wait for episode 10.
I know, I feel like...
It's getting tense.
I hope it stops, like, being stormy for them.
I don't.
Like, do you not? Do you want it to continue?
No.
Mwah.
Right, listeners, thank you, of course, for listening to... I'm going back into my professional mode.
Yeah, go on, do it.
Right,
I love
listeners,
it.
thank you
Do
for
it.
listening to I'm a Celebrity, South Africa, the podcast. I've been Seann Walsh. This has been...
My name,
That's your
Scarlett
cue.
Moffat.
I haven't forgotten your name. I've been Seann Walsh. This has been...
My name's Scarlett Moffat. Oh, do you want me to not
my
say my
God.
name? Scarlett Moffat.
Oh, of course. And by the way, just before you go, don't stop the podcast. Just wait there, please. If you're enjoying the podcast and you know other people at work, wherever it is, school, college, if you're listening, and you know that someone else watches I'm a Celeb, please recommend the pod. Get them involved. We'd love them to be listening to. And of course, get in touch. Hashtag. What's the hashtag, Scarlett?
I'm a Celebrity podcast.
Peace out.
Yes, peace out thing. That's what they do on YouTube.
I'm bringing Scarlett Moffat down with me.